Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Tuesday Transformation Tidbits with Patrice, where we're transforming your way of thinking. We're empowering you to overcome obstacles, and we're infiltrating the power, the potential that lies on the inside of you. For the month of October, we've been talking about and equating October with the fall season. And we know in the fall season is a time of transition, it's a time of self evaluation, it is a time of harvest. On last week, we talked about a time of self evaluation. It was a time of self reflection. We wanted to understand how far we have come in 2024 and where did we want to be at this time in 2024. We talk about the visual representation of who you are and who you want it to be. And on today, we're back again and we're talking about a time of self evaluation. We're talking about a time that we need to look at ourselves. Over the weekend, I had a full pack weekend, and it seemed like everywhere I went this weekend, starting from Friday until Sunday around 7 p.m. when I enter back into my home, every message that was heard had to deal with the element of faith. And if you look at everything that we've been talking about since we commenced in August up until now, it really, the baseline of everything that we're talking about really has to do with the element of faith. So when we look at the element of faith, we're really talking about fear over faith. We're talking about the object of having faith over fear, not fear over faith, but faith over fear. And when we look at that, what we're basically doing is we're considering the situations that we're in. We're weighing the options of the situations, and we're understanding the danger in some cases that goes along with the situation. But we're making a choice, and that choice is to fight through our fear. That choice is to trust in God, irregardless of the situation, irregardless of the element of danger that might be in that situation. We have made up in our mind as we've been traveling with these tidbits is to fight through our fear. And everything that we do, we have to fight through that fear. And on today, we're going to be talking about faith over fear. We're going to talk about letting go and allowing room for the renewal, allowing room for the transformation in our life to begin, because we realize that we're at the last quarter of 2024. And in this last quarter of the 2024, we're transitioning into getting the touchdown. At the end, in December 31st of 2024, we want to have had a touchdown. I don't know about you, but the things that I wrote on my board, or my vision board, or in my notebook for 2024, I want to be able to check my list, and I want to cross them things off. I want to be able to know that one of my elements on my list was the increase of faith. I want to be able to say at the end of 2024, my faith level has excelled. My faith level in Jesus Christ has come and it has gone up higher. What about you? Have you looked at your list for 2024? Have you checked it twice, as they say, as the children say when it comes time for the Christmas holiday? Do we look at our list to find out if we were faithful? That we really look at it? Are we able to cross things off to say that I have accomplished this for 2024? Was there something that I missed? Now is the time for us to begin to look at it. Now is the time for us to do some self-evaluation. Now is the time in this transition month for us to get aboard and us to start looking at, how do I make that touchdown? How do I get there? What strategies do I need in order to get there? I still got time and I must get there. So when we look at the whole phase of faith over fear, we look at this is a popular phase that a lot of us in the church and the Christian world says about faith over fear. And what it does, it conveys the ideal that faith in God should be stronger than anything that comes our way. Our faith in God should be stronger than our doubts. Our faith in God should be stronger than the fear that accounts us or the fear that grips us from day to day, from minute to minute, from second to second. And it encourages us as believers to trust in God. Come what will or may, we have to hold and depend on God in every circumstances of our life. We got to depend on his promises. We can't succumb to the element of fear. We can't succumb to the element of doubt in our life. So when we look at it, what exactly is fear? So many times we have heard the phrase, there is nothing to fear but fear itself. And sometimes that's true, and sometimes that's not true. However, there is something that we must realize as being human beings. And the thing that we must realize as being human beings, that fear is something that we all have done. Fear has gripped us at some point in time in our life. If you're human, and I hope you are human, if you're on this line today, there has been some fear that has gripped you from time to time. As a matter of fact, for some of us that's on this line today, fear is even gripping our life right now. Some things in our life that we're going through, we are fearful on today. I don't know about you, but fearfulness, when we look at it, is an emotion. And sometimes we're fearful because we're not trusting and depending on God. We understand and have faith that he is capable and that he's able to do something. But in our circumstances, in our situation, do we rely on God in our given circumstances and in our given situation? When we look at fear, fear is a mind reaction. And I need all of us to understand that fear is really a reaction. It's a reaction to a perceived threat that comes our way. It's a reaction that comes our way, and it comes in any shape and sizes. My fear level on a given circumstances is not your fear level on a given circumstances. We all have different levels of fear. All have different levels that we fight in the element of fear. But fear, when we look at it, it can cause stress to our bodies. It might make us breathe, in a panic situation. But fear, as I said, is a reaction. It is something that we do, irrespective to the position or the situation that we're lying in. So fear is something also that can be sold. We sell fear. And you say, how do we sell fear? Let's just think about that for a moment. This month is the month of October, and we all know, whether we celebrate Halloween or nothing, Halloween is something that happens in October. It is a reality. So what we do when I say we sell fear, if any of you have ever been to the haunted house, you have bought tickets to go into the haunted house. And the haunted house is nothing but a scary fear tactic. So fear is sold. When scary movies come out this time of year, and if you buy any tickets to go to movies or whatever, you're selling fear. Once again, that's still an element of fear that we do. So we sell fear just as well as we feel fear. I meant to say, so we sell and feel fear just as well as we do one another. So we have to understand that we got to have the faith over the fear that comes our way. So when we look at fear, as I said, fear is a God-given emotion, and that our emotions are just part of life. So when we look at the emotion of fear, the emotion of fear can motivate us to do some things. What does the emotion of fear actually motivate us? It advances us and tells us to fight at times. It tells us to turn and run away at times. And then it tells us to shrink down and to hide. When elements of fear comes along us, either you're going to run and you're going to turn away from a given situation, or you're going to shrink down and you're going to hide, or you're going to have enough gumption you to get up and to fight in a given situation. So when we look at fear once again, fear is sometimes can be a healthy response also. Why do I say that? Because fear can alert you to a time when danger is where. Fear can alert you to a time that can make you come alive and realize you're about to embark upon something that may cause some danger in your life. So there is a healthy portion of fear, just like there is an unhealthy portion of fear. I heard somebody, our sister Stacy, said it, fear can paralyze you. And I need us to understand that fear can stop us in our motion. Fear can tell us to hold ourselves. It can shrink us, as I said, and tell us to go and hide somewhere. We have to be very, very careful of the element of fear, because it will tell us to take flight. Yes, Mar, it will tell us to take flight and go somewhere. But we have to understand on today, as we go into this as we are in this last quarter, we're trying to get a touchdown by December 31st. I don't know about you, but I'm trying to throw a ball. I don't know that much about football. That is not my sport. But nonetheless, I got some football fans that are on the line today. The goal is to get the touchdown. So on today, our goal is to transition and to touchdown. We got to get the touchdown because we've got the win at the end on December 31st. So we got to be careful of our fear. When we look at fear, we can put fear into two categories: the fear of the unknown and the fear of harm. And when we look at it, when you look at the fear that you have, think about the two categories. It's the fear of unknown and it's the fear of harm. Are those fears ruling your life? All those fears prohibiting you from excelling high in life, prohibiting you from getting to the next level, prohibiting you from being all that God has called you to be, prohibiting you from walking into the purpose that God has designated for your life. Is that fear? Has it halted you? Has it made you immobile? Does it make you doubt who you are? On today, we're talking about the faith over fear. We have to admit at some point in time that everyone on this line, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook Live on today, or rather you're on Spotify on today, all of you have some fear. And if you tell me that you don't, I need you to check it. There is something in life that makes you fearful, or there has been something in life that has caused some type of fear. But there's one thing that we can rest assured is that we got to have faith in a given situation over the fear. So how do I get faith? I am so glad that you asked me that this morning. I've been waiting for you to say that. So we have faith, and the faith is the faith and trust that we have in God. And that is so essential when we look at it. Our faith is based in God, on the unseen, on the untouched. When we look at our faith in God, it's based on conviction of our beliefs. But when we look at fear, fear is something that we see in front of us. Fear is something that is seen. It's a sense of something that's in front of us. So a lot of times we have challenges with getting to faith because we don't see the thing that we want. We're not able to touch the thing that we want. So sometimes fear overrules our faith because fear is in front of our face. Fear is something we can reach out and we can touch. Fear is something that we can identify with. But faith is telling me that it's possible. That if I hold on and if I trust and if I keep going, if I keep pushing, it shall come into fruition. But in this day and time that we live in is a microwave day and time. We want everything right now. So we don't have the patience that we need in order to have the element of faith that we need. When we look at it, our faith is something that, as I said, we cannot see. It's something that is not physical. So as human beings, a lot of times we attach to the thing that is physical. So when I look at faith this morning, I just want to give you three elements of faith on today. And the first element of faith, or when we look at faith, these elements are, we have to actively engage in these elements in order for us to hold on to our claim. So whatever it is that you're looking to come into fruition at the end of this year or in this last quarter of this year, these elements of faith is going to help you on this morning. My first thing is you got to have a content. And what I look at it when I say a content, you got to have an object of something that you trust, something that you're looking at. On this morning, I want to use the illustration of a chair. When we look at a content, the chair is a solid structure. When we look at a chair is designed to hold an individual while we're sitting in it. So we believe in a chair when we look at the chair. That is the content of the faith. The conviction of the faith, which is my point number two, the conviction of the faith, it tells me that I trust in something or I trust in someone. It tells me that I can take the claim of the content to know that this thing will happen. This thing is capable of being done. It's a conviction that I have because I tried it. I studied it. I looked at it. So I know what this thing is. If I take you back to the illustration of the chair, I've investigated the chair. So because I investigated in this chair, I have a conviction to know what the chair is capable of doing. So the chair has convinced me that it is capable of me sitting in it and is capable of holding me. That is my conviction. My conviction is based on my content, which is my knowledge. My objective is the chair, the sturdy foundation of it. And then my last point, when we look at the elements of fear, is a consent. I am consenting that this chair will do just what it says it's going to do. My consent is a trust. I've got trust in this chair. So once again, the illustration is the chair. I am now resting the weight of my body in the chair because I know without a shadow of a doubt that chair will hold me. I'm convinced in the element of the faith in the chair that when I sit all of this weight that I have in that chair, I'm not going to fall. So when we look at the elements of faith, we first have to have the knowledge or the content in the objective or in the object. The object was the chair. We have the knowledge. We have the chair that's a contact. And then we got to have a conviction. We got to know that we investigated that chair. We looked at that chair and then we looked at us and we know that a chair is designed to hold us. So I'm convicted. I'm convinced. I approve that the chair is going to do exactly what the chair is going to do. And then I consent. What it is, I trust in the chair. I trust that the chair is going to hold this weight because I've already investigated. So I'm already convicted that it will happen. It will take place because the object is my chair. When we think about the elements of faith on today, as you travel along the way, I need you to look at those three elements. I need you to look at it. There is a content of faith. There is a conviction of faith. And then there's a consent that the faith will take place. So on this morning, as we travel along and as we're looking at faith over fear, I need us to understand that the element is to trust and to have faith and conviction in God. No matter what it is, no matter what you're going through, no matter what your fear is on today, trust God on today, knowing that there is a conviction that God is going to do just what he says he's going to do. I've tried them and I know him on today. I've tried them and he's brought me through on today. I've tried them and he's made a way out of no way for me on today. I've got faith over fear on today. So as I travel throughout the day, I want you to understand that your faith in God brings you the hope. It brings you the peace. It brings you the courage that you need to run on just a little while further on today. As we enter into this last quarter, we understand that we've got to have faith in whatever comes our way. We've got to have faith to know that God is going to help us to attain the thing that He told us to attain in 2024. We're going to be able to look at those checklists of the things that we said that we wanted to happen in 2024. And we realize we're in the last quarter. We've got to get up and we've got to fight. We've got to get up and we've got to push our way through. We've got to get up and we've got to tell that fear on today that I've got faith. I've got a conscience. I've got a conviction and I've got consent that God is going to do just what He said He's going to do. So on today, as we take this journey from transition to touchdown in this month of October, I want us to realize that we've got to choose faith on today. We've got to choose faith over fear on today. We've got the strength to navigate until the end. We've got the strength to walk in this pathway, on this path. You're going to make it on this journey. You just got to fight just a little while longer. You've got to hold out just a little while longer. So my Tuesday transformation tidbit on Tuesday, October the 14th, 2024 at 6 a.m. in the morning is to push your fear out of your way. Push your fear to the side and replace it with faith. Faith is the knowledge, it's the conviction, and it's the trust to know that whatever it is that I believe in on today, I know that it shall come to pass. I got faith over fear on today. I'm pushing aside my fear and I'm going to replace it with faith on today. Be amazing, people of God. Be amazing, my sister and my brother on today. Be amazing, hearers on today. You be amazing and know that you got faith over fear. Shalom. Bye-bye.